Let's pivot to the NBA. A lot of money being given out. We've talked about this a lot, but it needs to be reiterated. The National Basketball Association has a team in it that has given one player $71.25 million a year. A year. In the world that we're in right now. Joining us is a 13-year NBA vet, friend of the program, ladies and gentlemen, Quentin Richardson.
Yay,
Q, obviously co-host of the Knuckleheads podcast. Please shout out D Miles for us. Whenever you see $71.25 million, you just do this to SGA. You congratulate him. How do basketball players view this type of breakthrough type contract happening?
Absolutely, man. I mean, all of us are saluting this. This is a monumental deal, the biggest deal in the history so far. And the other part of it is that, as I understand, he doesn't even have an agent, so he go ahead and pay a couple of lawyers, do some, little help him with some contracts, and he bring that all to the fam. That's pretty dope right there, SGA.
I love that for SGA on a contract year to play the way he did, and for his team to play the way they did. Congrats to him on getting the bag. Okay, let's talk about a couple of the other stories around free agency that has really caught your eyes. What are some teams we should be looking at or situations that maybe we should spend a little time learning about?
Man, H-Town, Houston went crazy yesterday. Obviously it started with getting KD, and they signed Steven Adams a little earlier in the offseason. But the moves they were able to make and to get KD without having to give up some of their they bigger pieces like Şengün, and then they go get Clint Capella and sign Van Vliet back, and then they steal Dorian Finney-Smith from the Lakers. Like, that was a shocking move to me. I didn't foresee them being in a position to do that. So I think they've gone all in this year and trying to position themselves to compete with OKC for the West and to try and get a chip.
Most craziest offseason ever has Kevin Durant moving from Phoenix to Houston, and then Houston continuing to make plays. They were the number 2 team in the West, I believe, this past season. Also very young, and they re-signed Ime to a massive deal down there. Looks like the Houston Rockets are ready to cook down Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Congratulations to them. You just mentioned Dorian Finney coming from the Lakers. Let's talk about the Lakers a little bit. Ty Sr. has a question for you.
Yeah, Q Rich, just curious. I know the Lakers were pretty keen on bringing in Brook Lopez. He was kind of like the centerpiece, of their offseason. Now we're hearing Ayton maybe. Obviously, he's from the LA area, went to Stanford, leaves, and he's coming back home. How much of a needle mover is he for the Clippers, and do you think they did this kind of solely to maybe get one over on the Lakers? And also, how much does this remind you of maybe like Dale Sr. leaving Bud Moore Engineering and going back to Childress Racing like he did in the late 90s?
It does not remind me anything about Dale Sr. and because I'm not into the NASCAR racing, but I do know who Dale Earnhardt is. But I have no recollection of the moves you're talking about back and forth. So I don't know about that. But on the basketball front, I think the Clippers did that because it's a great move. They got Brook Lopez as a backup. He's not he's not going to be coming there to he's going to be backing up Zubac. So I think he realizes that possibly he wanted to be back home, and I think it's a bad look for the Lakers that Brook Lopez chose a backup role to Zubac over a situation where he could possibly have been the starter for the Lakers, and I think that says something.
Let's stay with the Lakers. D-Bud has a question for you, Q.
Yeah, I want to know, number one, what does that say about the Lakers and their future, how they're going moving forward? And then obviously the biggest piece over there as far as name brand, LeBron. What do you see LeBron's future? Do you think it's kind of much ado about nothing, he'll be a Laker when this season comes, or do you think it's actually a possibility that he moves on?
I think LeBron is a Laker. I think he wouldn't have opted in if he didn't want to be a Laker. I think, he had all of the power to opt out and then to be a free agent and to go where he wanted to go. So I think he'll be a Laker. But as far as what it says about Brook Lopez making that decision and Dorian Finney-Smith leaving, I think it says that there's uncertainty about what's going to happen as far as Luka and what's happening and just the look and feel of the team, because Dorian Finney-Smith is a guy who was there for half a season. So if he's liked what he saw, or unless the contract wasn't going to be matched or something like that, I wouldn't see him moving and leaving there. But with him making that moves and just being there, I think it speaks to the uncertainty of the guys around the league and the guys around that team knowing what's actually going to happen there, whether it's with LeBron, Luka, or whatever.
I wonder how this team looks this year going in. Rich Paul's quote to Shams Charania, very interesting. Hey, we're just monitoring this thing. He only has a few years left. We'll see, a couple years left. We'd like it to be for championships. With Luka, I automatically assume you'd at least have a chance at a championship each year. I guess we'll have to monitor the situation in Los Angeles. From L.A. to the East Coast, let's go to New York. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Rich. New York Knicks still looking for a coach. Mike Brown's getting a second interview, and then the reports were that they reached out to Dawn Staley about their head coaching position. A lot of jokes were flying, but it feels as though the NBA is nearing their first ever female head coach. How do you think that would work? Obviously, Becky Hammond's in the Spurs. I know the Pacers have an assistant coach, but how do you think a head coach that is a woman would work in the NBA? And do you think we're kind of probably, a few years out from that, or do you think that could be any time now?
Yeah, I don't know how far we are out from that, but I think it could work. Like I said, I played for Coach Nancy Lieberman in the Big Three, and my from being a player, being in locker rooms, I know that players respect the coaches that put in the work, the coaches that are prepared, the coaches that are doing what they need to do to have us as prepared as we are. And we as players, we know the difference. You can't cheat it. We see the difference in the game plan and the things that go into it. So, my experience with Nancy Lieberman, man, and I had all pros on my team. Big Baby Davis, Katino Mobley, Corey Maggette. We were all former NBA players, and we all felt the same exact way about her. She was as prepared and as intense and as about winning as any coach we had ever played for. We would have a game on a Saturday or Sunday, and before we even get on the plane to go out of town, she's texting us the game plan for next week and talking about different things. And the Big Three was big difference from the NBA. We weren't with each other as much, so she had to do a lot of that remote away from us, and she would call and FaceTime. And to me, if you're going to put in the work to be able to do it, I think the guys will give respect. Come on, man. At the end of the day, I don't care who you are. You had a mother. You got a sister. You got, grandmothers and stuff like that. So we as men supposed to respect women, and I don't think it would be that big a deal. I think you've seen females and women start to integrate into the different sports. It's a lot of assistants across all of the different sports and doing different things and earning great respect. And I think it's just a matter of time before it happens.
Watching Coach Jenny with the Pacers was awesome this playoff run, because
They do. People think that they are as intense and as dialed in. Like Nancy was like, that was the first message to us. Like, hey, we not here to play. We coming to win. We want to win this whole thing. Like, that was the first and the continuing message throughout. So I think that, people don't understand that these women, once they get into these athletic situations, they become dogs and yes, all of those things that we do. They get into it and they get wrapped up into it and they all in.
And the boys responded too. I was watching that too, because obviously you got to watch how the boys respond to everything that's going on. Not just Jenny, but Rick Carlisle, all the assistants. And it's like the boys were bought in, obviously. Excited to see that. Now, we only have about a minute before a hard out. Damian Lillard gets waived. He's going to make $22 million for the next 5 years, allegedly, via reports.
God bless him.
Obviously, Miles ends up. Yeah, God bless him for that, for sure. He's coming off an Achilles. He's going to miss next year. What is our immediate thought? What should our immediate thought here be in 30 seconds or less?
I'm excited for him, man. Not the best situation, but he's still going to get his big-time money while he gets to sit out in rehab, but he gets to look at the landscape. After this year, he'll be a complete free agent. He doesn't have to talk. He gets to go and choose where he wants to go. So he gets to sit back, get healthy, and see what the landscape looks like and where he fits in best.
He's got that Bonilla deal, too, coming. Mm-hmm. Congrats to Bobby Bonilla, by the way.
Absolutely.
Another payment of $1 million until 20.
Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah. What a plan. What a deal.
Hey, that is the biggest. He the GOAT right there for that.
Yeah, unless you can get $71.25 million a year, you go ahead and get the Bonilla one. Ladies and gentlemen, Quentin Richardson. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Q.
I'm on fire.